Okay, so unfortunately I wasn't able to video a lot of this hair because my card got full and I was not aware of it. So, but hopefully you got enough from the video. It's just a matter of going back and forth between colors. And I didn't do anything special other than just using my paint and water and different brushes and washes to create all these effects. Mostly a liner brush, obviously, to get all these little fine hairs. And then I would go back in and paint. I really enjoyed painting the negative space in between, and I may even still do a little bit more over here because I think that just adds another dimension to the piece. It probably looks, I have a light source overhead, so it probably looks really, really shiny right up in here. I'm doing something that I haven't done in the past, which is to use an iridescent silver. And it's fun. From my perspective, it's not quite so insane as what you're seeing with the reflection of the overhead light. But anyway, I debated back and forth if I'm going to call this done, and I think I would like to try putting a little bit of wax maybe here and there. All of my edges are pretty defined, and I think I'd like to see maybe if I can do some lost and found and maybe drag some stuff over. It's all an experiment, right? So I'm going to see what happens. The main thing I need to do is to take my wax, and remember we talked about this on the early days. I am going to go ahead and mix a little bit of the Powertex Universal Translucent Medium, because that really does seem to make a difference with the drying. So I'm not going to show you, I put a little bit out on my palette what I think I need. And remember, I think it was 25.75, I think was the what they suggested. So that's all I'm doing right now, is just mixing. And even though the wax looks somewhat grainy, I have not found it to be that way when I spread it on the canvas. It seems to do just fine. So use your finger, you can use whatever tool kind of floats your boat. And part of me wants to think this might be a little too light, but then I can always glaze over it. So I'm going to keep going here. I like that foggy look. But I also really like scraping. I'm gonna get too carried away. It's amazing how quick it will dry with that product in it. Okay, maybe just a tad more right in here. It's very gritty in places because of the rust that I have going on. You can just, there's still a little bit of that rust that's coming through, which I love. All right, so now what about the horse, right? What are we going to do there? Well, let's take and see what happens when I put a little bit of wax and just kind of drag it over. And that's what I mean kind of about those lost and found edges. See how that automatically pushed him back. Maybe I need to have a little bit more down here on the body. a little bit more of that texture. That might be helpful. I gotta be careful. I sure don't want to ruin what I've already got going on. I kind of like that actually. Kind of brightened it up just a little bit. Actually didn't take very much. All right, one more little experiment here. Now, again, just wanted to create a little bit of a highlight there maybe. But I think what I would like is a little more of that silver. Now that is the Nova color. It's one of their iridescent, pearlescent opaque it's called, and the color is silver. Go over where some of these lumpy bumpies are. Especially down in here. I think it got way dark. I don't think it's going to take a lot of this to make me happy, so I need to be careful. I like my circles, but I don't want them to be too jump out in your face. And I'm treating this like I would bright white, like my highlight, because, you know, as you can tell from the light overhead, when it grabs it, it really grabs it. So, but I want to do a little bit out here on the nose, maybe right there around the nostril, and maybe right there. And then just pick a few little areas in through here. Oh, I know where else. Right here. If you want a light to show up, put a dark next to it. Did you see how quickly that made that pop a little bit? And I'm just feathering out the edges with some plain damp water. I think by adding a little bit of some darker values in there, it kind of finishes out that jawline. There are a ton of colors up here I used every color that I have used. I used the phthalo, burnt sienna, quin, magenta, orange, Payne's gray, Naples yellow, burnt umber. All of those were used in the making of the hair in various areas. Because I really thought that's what it needed in order to come across. I think I said this, but I'm going to say it again. I have never felt so free as I did painting this, and yet never felt so challenged as well. This was so hard for me because I'm such a detailed person, and it was very difficult. And I can see that there's places I probably should have let go of a little sooner, but hey, I'm still thrilled with the way this guy's turned out. So anyway, thanks for watching.